Hello viewers, this is one more episode of Kaapi with Kudpi, brought to you by Kudpi Raj, Kudpi Rajni Kanchane. Ullal Devadas Mallya was instrumental in growth of Mangalore city, and he was responsible for three major developments here. That is Karnataka Regional Engineering College in Surathkal, then New Mangalore Port and Bajpayee Airport. Ullal Devadas Mallya was also a close friend of my father, and they have worked together in Congress committee during the freedom movement. My father, with his Kannada weekly paper, Prabhat, used to get sponsorship from a cashew manufacturing company in Mangalore, which belonged to the Ullal Mallyas. That reputed cashew manufacturing company was known as Ullal Devadas Mallya & Co. And it was one of the leading cashew factories in the undivided Dakshina Kannada district until the early 1980s. And I am proud to present today's guest from the same Ullal Devadas Mallya family, who is the grand nephew of Ullal Devadas Mallya, Mr. Devadas Mallya. Mr. Devadas Mallya, please.
Hello.
Hello, Devadas. Welcome to the show. Kaapi with Kudpi, as you might have seen already, is a simple show in which we'll be chatting while consuming homemade simple snacks. So today we have made some surprise snack for you. I hope you like it because I know that you have been working in Manipal for a long time, and you might have tasted an exotic dish somewhere around. I won't tell the name of the dish now, it will be a surprise for you. Then along with that snack, I have made your favorite jackfruit halwa, which you are going to relish. And my wife will be making some strong filtered coffee. Like I told earlier, Ullal Mallya family is a great family, and I'm happy that you are my friend from the same family. It was a coincidence, I can say. Way back in 1988, my childhood friend Mahavir married your sister Rati, and ever since we came to know your family. And your father was very friendly with us, and he used to invite us home and have some party at your place. But you being a little introvert and intellectual type, I can say, were more into academics and books and things, and you were not mingling much with us then. Later, as years passed by, back in the year 2017, I believe, your sister Rati told that if you are making any good dishes at home, my brother is interested in tasting them. So then I was sharing food with a few close friends, making a couple of dishes every week, maybe some biryani and some fried and all these things. So you became a patron and started taking my food, and you liked it. Thus we became friends. Later you were active in Facebook. I was already active in Facebook. There also we continued our friendship. Then I started visiting your place often, and we started exchanging ideas, thoughts. Our friendship grew up. And one of the reasons for that is literature, because you are a voracious reader of books, and I think P.G. Wodehouse is one of your favorites, or maybe you're the most favorite author. And I used to read quite a few of those books from my father's collection, and I am also a fan of P.G. Wodehouse. So we both have something in common. Apart from that, you being a faculty at Welcome Group of Hotel Administration in Manipal for quite some time, wherein you were interested in cooking, and you used to tell me that you used to watch them, how they cook, how they develop new dishes. and how they teach the students the formulas and things in cooking. And we had a lot of such discussions on Facebook, on my food page as well as my own personal page. Now I am not active on Facebook except for my food page. But our discussions have continued at personal level. And today I get a chance to not just treat you with some exotic snacks, but also discuss certain things, some personal and stories which you want to share with the viewers, which you may have, because you are a storyteller. You told us many stories in the past, and your anecdotes are awesome, I can say. They are fantastic. Your memories and your anecdotes, those I can cherish forever. Such instances are there. So you can share them with the viewers. And also talk a little bit about your family, your education, your growing up, then your higher education, your job front, about your business, family business, why you didn't continue with family business, or why you went for a teaching job. All these things you can say. So there you are, Mr. Ullal Devadas Mallya, the scholar, the educator, and a voracious reader, if not a foodie for you. Let's relax, sit and continue our discussion. So, let's have it, Devadas.
Yes.
Why do we delay?
Yes.
So, here is the famous Diana, Kudpi Diana style cutlet for you. We got the recipe long ago from a restaurant in Bandar, and now we can make it exactly like Kudpi Diana. When you are in Manipal, you might have visited there quite often.
Not very often actually. When you are working, to take a break at Udupi and then again catch a second bus is very tedious. So
that's true. Some buses directly came from Manipal to Mangalore. So that was more convenient for you.
Much more convenient.
I told that though I know the Ullal Mallya family since a long time, because Ullal Devadas Mallya was known to my father. He always used to talk about him, quote him many times at home. Shinap Mallya used to call him, because he was dearly called as Shinap Mallya in Mangalore. And all his achievements he used to tell at home. What all developments are going on, what all areas he is working. Because being a journalist, my father used to get all the feedback, every detail he used to get. Moreover, they were in Congress together.
Yes.
Ullal Mallya and Co, the Cashew factory, which was very famous in undivided Dakshin Kannada.
Yes.
They were sponsors of my father. In his paper, they have published advertisement. I'll be putting a picture here. I'll show because I found it in the archives. So I'm going to publish it in this video. So that's a way of showing gratitude that we were being sponsored by your family. Okay. The Cashew factory was quite famous.
Yes.
And I think it was one of the leading cashew factories, just like Midargo in the Annapapai and some other. Maybe number one in Dakshin Kannada, during that period, maybe. I'm not sure. You should know better.
Yes.
So, when you had such a big setup, why did you decide to go for higher studies? Or that we'll talk later.
Yes.
First, please tell us something about your family. Maybe something about your parents, then your wife, children, then your education, schooling, then college education, and what higher studies you did, and the job front, where you worked first.
Well, actually, our firm was first started by my grandfather. It was a commission agency for Arakanat.
Really?
Cashew business came later. In fact, much later. And that also is interesting. In the sense my grandfather purchased a very large quantity of cashew for as a broker. He purchased for some factory owner who did not take it later.
Oh.
And we were left with, he was left with a very large quantity of cashew on his hand. This was somewhere in maybe 1938-39. And the war signs were very clear. So one of the American companies, General Foods, they had a huge factory in Malwan. So they wanted to sell it and leave India. And my eldest uncle, Mr. Ramakrishna Mallya, he took the opportunity, bought the factory from them at a very reasonable price, on the lower side of course because of the war, this one. They gave it a good price. Then he went, stayed 6 months there, dismantled the entire factory and machinery, everything, and brought it on big boats, what are called the manjis. There were no steamers those days.
Okay.
On manjis he got them to Mangalore and assembled it here back. And that's how we started the cashew. And the other manufacturers were not using mechanical, they were using the hot process for extracting and boiling the nuts to heat up the raw nuts were heated in hot oil. It doesn't make much sound unlike the expellers.
Oh.
So that came, but the oil would not be of that high quality as you get in what is called the cold process or the mechanical extraction.
This is the jackfruit halwa.
Yes.
You may like it, I'm sure.
The quality of oil was so good that America and Japan were exclusively buying from us. Ours was not the largest factory, but because of that oil, there was very high demand for our product, and cashews were roasted by a different process called drum roasting in a large drum over a fire of this cashew nut oil cake. They were roasted. Process was a little slower and more costly, but the outturn and the quality of nuts, those nuts would not spoil for even 2 years. Today's steam roasted and this hot oil roasted, they have shelf life of 8 or 9 months. But our nuts were staying up to 2 years. The firm was Narayan Mallya and Sons, the cashew factory, whereas the & Co was the commission agency for better nuts.
Okay.
Business was going well, and we had one in this Dongarkeri area, Newfield Street.
Yes.
See, there the thing was, the factory heavy noise making thing was in Konchadi far away.
Yeah, I remember that. So there you had the office.
No, there it was, what we were doing there also it was a very vast building. We had about 400 people doing the peeling and shelling and all that in and packing. Those were silent activities. About 90% of our cashew business was export, and we had good contacts in the US and Japan.
Okay. So, what about your education?
I started in St. Anne's. At that time, up to 5th standard, they were, 5th class it was then, standards had not come. They were allowing boys. So up to class 5, we studied in St. Anne's. Then first form onwards, now it is standard, but that time it was form, 1st to 6th form, I studied in St. Aloysius High School.
Then it was SSLC or?
SLC, by that time SLC had come. After 3rd form, the reform came and 8th, 9th, 10th standard, studied in Aloysius, completing in 66. That time government college started a PUC course, Mathematics, Economics, Commerce, which I applied for. And my marks were high, I would have got it. But then last minute at the interview, they told we are not starting the course this year. We can give you physics, chemistry, maths, or history, economics, commerce. I said, if that was what I had to choose, I would go to my own college, Aloysius. Why will I come here? And I went back to Aloysius, joined the PUC there. There also it has been a sort of, I won't say confusion, but I had a great, I can't say great, I can't describe how great, chemistry lecturer who taught us so well that I scored the highest marks in chemistry.
I think
Even beating.
we have got something in common. Are you talking about Mr. K.B. Kinney?
Yes, Mr. K.B. Kinney.
Because I too had him as, actually he was a demonstrator in
Yes.
chemistry, but he was taking lecture classes for PUC.
POC, yes.
He taught us, his specialty was, we were not supposed to refer to the textbook. He used to give a notes. He used to write on the board notes. And we are supposed to take it down. And if you read that, you will score very high marks.
Very high marks.
And chemistry was my strong subject because of him.
Yes. So thinking chemistry is so nice, I went and told him, sir, I think I should study chemical engineering. He said, very good, it's very good, you should definitely, you can do well there. And I went and got a seat in KREC.
No, it's really something great that you are instrumental in the setting up KREC. And you become an alumnus of that.
Yes.
So that's a very remarkable thing, I can say. So after pursuing chemical engineering, did you do something on your own, or you went for a job?
No, in the final year, I wrote the entrance exams for the IIMs. 2 IIMs in the country, one at Ahmedabad and one at Calcutta. And you have to appear separately for both. I appeared for both.
So what was your specialization in that?
2 areas we could specialize, and I chose maximum courses from finance and a few courses, just the required minimum from personal management.
Okay.
But my father, when sending me to Calcutta, had made a condition. Once you finish it, you must come back and work for us only. There is no question of your going to a job anywhere.
Yeah, when the establishment was big and you needed your own people.
People, and I was the only son. He didn't want me to be far away from Mangalore. So I agreed. I had good offers in the placement process. In fact, State Bank had issued me an appointment letter in the management cadre, and they said they will wait 1 year if necessary for me to complete my MBA before joining. But finally I could not take their offer and came back to Mangalore. And of course for a few years I was working both at some time in the Arecanut division and some time in the cashew nut factory. But I was not finding it very congenial. In business I was not very happy. Somehow it was not going through well, and gradually I found one of my cousins, Ramdas, joined this Aloysius College, had started in the centenary year, 79-80, they had started a postgraduate diploma in management for working people, classes in the evening. So he was just chatting with the director, and he told the director, my cousin has done MBA from IIMC. Very next day, director was at my home. We are desperate for faculty, please come and teach. So I started teaching there. And for many years I was, along with my office work and all that, I was still teaching there. Then our cashew business ran into a problem, and in 71, I think, or yes, little later, we closed down the cashew section. And only the Arecanut section, and in the cashew factory the oil section was working. And that needed hardly any labor or even our side management, labor. And our side 1 or 2 people could manage. In a way it was convenient for you to come out and be on your own. Yes. No, even then for some years I was continuing in the Arecanut section. Oh, you continued? Continued. Daytime I was going there, evening once or twice a week I was going to St. Aloysius. Then SDM college also found me, they requested, and I was taking class for the BBM also. Then finally there was a problem, I won't say a problem, my mother's health failed, she got cancer, and about 3-4 months we were totally... I know about it, I know yes. It was in the late 1980s? 80s, yeah, 86 actually. So when we went back, we found, and there are other factors also, government, this one, very high sales tax, all that. One could do business only if one was prepared to do business without billing properly or something like that those days. So from my grandfather's time, that was not allowed. So my father also said no. And finally, when the business became very bad, in between there were some octroi problems. The growers found it cheaper to sell outside Mangalore than bring in Mangalore and pay the octroi. So gradually the betel nut business also failed.
Okay.
So my father also quite old by that time. By that time I was married, I had 2 sons. So by that time Professor Shanay, the coordinator of the LOCS program, he asked me whether I would be able to handle a course in Manipal at the Welcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Management. TAPME was able to manage for them, but the next semester they needed a finance project and there was no faculty available. So he asked me whether I could manage. I said I will try my best. I went and started going there as a visiting faculty. That was in '86. So I've been teaching the very first batch of BHM students in Manipal. But the project the teaching and guidance, because we have to guide students individually for a project, was a very heavy task. But I managed it all again with the help of Professor Shanay. Whenever he was free, he also would come. And the college didn't mind paying both of us the fees because they also realized what a heavy work it was, how much work was involved, and whenever they had the car coming to Mangalore, they would pick us up. And those days sometimes the last bus was at 7 o'clock from Udupi. So if our guidance work went late, they even dropped us back to Mangalore. So they took care of us well. That's why we continued. So 2 days a week I started. The next semester after that again they needed my services for financial management theory subject. So I started teaching that also. TFI Management Institute became aware of my coming to Manipal and they requested me whether I could take some theory classes for their students, the regular MBA students. I told them if you can fit in the days that I am coming, I will definitely take it. They said yes, we will give you whatever schedule you want. So suddenly I found myself going 3 days a week to Manipal. A old lecturer of mine from KREC, for their MCA program, they had a paper on managerial economics. He asked me whether I could come for 2 days a week to teach them. So 2 days a week I was going to Surathkal, 3 days a week to Manipal, and 1 day a week at LOCS. In 1991 I joined Manipal full time at their request. Instead of going to half a dozen places, they said you please come and join here. So I worked there from 1991 to 2007. Then I got a little tired, so I took a premature retirement and came. Yes.
But your experience in Manipal, you have shared some anecdotes with me earlier. Can you share one or two most significant ones? What you feel most significant ones? Both from Manipal as well as your experience in St. Aloysius.
Yes.
You can share with us.
Yes. I first remember my best experience in when I joined in '86. I was working 5 hours a day in Manipal in different classes. At the end of the day, I was feeling very tired. There were no direct buses at that time. So I had to come to Udupi and catch a bus to Mangalore. On the way, after 5 hours of this one, I would stop at a small restaurant and have tea and go. One day I finished my lecture a little early, so I just thought, here I am teaching in a 3-star hotel and I'm going and having tea in a roadside restaurant. This is, let me try 3-star experience for once and see how it goes.
You mean to say, in spite of being in the same college, which was attached to a 3-star hotel,
yes,
You never had tea before there?
there. No, I had gone as a guest earlier, but
okay.
not
individually.
not individually and not for teaching.
Okay.
Not while teaching.
Okay.
So I went into the hotel. It was a little before 4 o'clock when this one would have normally ended. I went in, the whole hotel dining room was empty. One fellow was half dozing, suddenly got up and welcomed me inside, took me to a table, ushered me and sat me down. I was about to tell him 1 cup of tea, he vanished, just vanished. Some 10 minutes later, he comes back with a big silver tray, a silver jug, 2 silver glasses and a posh menu bound in faux leather. So I told him, I don't want all this. You please get me 1 cup of tea and make it very quick. I have to get back to Mangalore very quickly. He said, yes sir. Went again, poured me 2 glasses of water before he went. And then comes out again with the tray, knives, forks, spoons, everything full, as we call the full service set, and started laying it. I said, I'm just having 1 cup of tea. Please don't do all this. Get the tea immediately. And the water was ice cold. I normally don't drink cold water. So I told him, please take this and get some warm water. He did that, but that took another 10 minutes. So by the time he came, I told him, please, I have to go back to Mangalore today. The later you make it, it's more difficult for me. Get me the tea quickly. He said, yes sir, immediately. Another 5 minutes, he came back with the tea. And I was in a hurry. I just took the tea to my mouth and scalded my tongue. Tea was boiling hot. I couldn't, I drank 2 cups of, 2 glasses of water immediately. Still it was bad. Then I thought, to hell with this. I am not going to behave like in a 3-star hotel, and started pouring the tea into the saucer and drinking it, and told him. And he was about to go. I told him, no, don't go, please get the bill immediately.
That's Bombay style of drinking tea.
Yes. So he went and came back with the bill. So of course the bill was, I was paying 25 paisa in the roadside restaurant. This bill was 1 rupee and 5 paisa to sale tax. So I kept 1 rupee 25 paisa in his folder and told him, see, look, I am a faculty here, I am going to sign this bill here. If this is treated as a duty meal for me, you pocket that whole tip. Otherwise, if it is charged for half or no, this charged full rate, still you get 20 paisa, let it be enough. And I left and just saw my watch. It was 45 minutes since I had entered the restaurant.
So for a cup of tea, you wasted so much time.
So after that, I started resuming drinking tea in the roadside restaurant only.